At 10 o'clock, the news now on BBC One with Sophie Raworth.
Tonight at 10, the Chancellor is expected to announce a 2p cut in national insurance in his budget tomorrow. Jeremy Hunt has been finalising his plans in Downing Street. Could he go even further than expected with a general election looming? Also tonight, Birmingham City Council approves a wave of cuts to services and a big rise in council tax described as unprecedented in scale. It's Super Tuesday in America. 15 US states are choosing their candidate for president. Will it be Trump versus Biden again? We'll be weighing up their chances of returning to the White House.
Don't take any more photos of this house, I'm telling you now.
The pictures we've not been allowed to show you for 20 years. This is Steak Knife, the man who went into hiding after being exposed as the Army's most important agent during the Troubles. And that moment and that shirt, it went under the hammer today. We'll be telling you for how much.
On BBC London, 2 former pupils of a London school tell us a controversial prayer ban made them feel like being Muslim was toxic.
Good evening. The Chancellor has been putting his final touches to his budget as he prepares to unveil it tomorrow. It could well be the last one before the general election. What is now expected is a 2p cut to national insurance and another freeze on fuel duty. But could Jeremy Hunt go even further? Our political editor Chris Mason is here with us with his thoughts. But before we hear from Chris, our economics editor Faisal Islam has been weighing up how much room for manoeuvre the Chancellor has. Faisal.
Thanks, Sophie. The Chancellor's hoping to use his big red box moment tomorrow to declare a definitive economic turning point after years of crisis and shocks. Certainly the path and forecast for inflation does look like that. Look at this. Inflation is falling back from its energy shock highs towards the Bank of England target. On the other hand, it's a little tricky to talk about a turning point when, as you see here, the economy has just started shrinking at the end of last year. You can see it's a shallow recession, but one nonetheless. And yet the Bank of England is holding off immediate rate cuts. Those are the numbers across the whole economy. But does this feel like a turning point in people's homes? One new lens on all this is looking at failed direct debits, a measure of people running out of cash in their own bank accounts. In January, overall, 1 in 90 direct debits failed, the highest since this data was collected from 4 years ago. Breaking it down into energy and mortgage direct debits, and you get the same pattern of a peak in failed direct debits very recently. In pounds, these bills are together averaging an extra £310 per month on 4 years ago. And so that is the context for a national insurance cut worth, say, £40 a month for one worker in terms of household finances. Difficult to call a turning point here. So no wonder the focus from the Chancellor on trying to give some of the tax rises back in terms of tax cuts. He's constrained, however, by this chart, the national debt. It's almost imperceptible, but it is going down there at the end, meaning his room for manoeuvre to hit his self-imposed targets was only £13 billion a year and has actually fallen a little. So to fund another £10 billion, 2p national insurance cut, which is what is expected. We expect a further squeeze on public spending at a time when councils and prison courts are looking stretched, and some extra tax on e-cigarettes, holiday homes and some flights. A big choice coming tomorrow at this budget, with a plan for lower taxes and further public spending squeezes ahead of a general election, whenever that comes.